My beloved child, I know there were moments when you wondered whether you would ever make it through. There were days when the weight of everything around you felt heavier than you could carry. You smiled when others were watching, but deep inside, you were tired. You questioned your decisions, your future, and sometimes even your own strength. Yet you kept moving. You are still here. My child, do not underestimate what you have already survived. There were situations that could have broken your confidence, disappointments that could have made you stop believing in yourself, and difficult seasons that seemed as though they would never end. But somehow, step by step, you continued. You may not realize it, but every difficult season taught you something. Every disappointment showed you something. Every delay developed something within you. Every closed door forced you to reconsider where you were going. And every time you thought you could not continue, you found another reason to take one more step. My beloved child, sometimes you become so focused on where you want to go that you forget to look back and see how far you have already come. You are not the same person you were before those difficult experiences. You have learned patience. You have learned discernment. You have learned that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. You have learned that some doors closing can protect you from paths you were never meant to follow. You have grown through things you never wanted to experience. My child, there were moments when you thought the struggle meant you were failing. But struggle does not always mean failure. Sometimes struggle reveals your strength. Sometimes difficult circumstances teach you lessons that comfort never could. You learned how to stand when nobody was encouraging you. You learned how to continue when the results were not immediate. You learned how to keep believing when your circumstances looked completely different from what you hoped for. And that growth matters. My beloved child, perhaps you are still waiting for something to change. Perhaps you look at your life and think, I have come so far, but I am still not where I want to be. Do not let that thought erase your progress. A journey is still progress even when you have not reached the destination. You do not need to have everything figured out today. You only need to keep taking the next wise step. My child, do not compare your journey with someone else's. You may see someone who appears to have everything you have been praying for, and you may wonder why their life seems easier. But you do not know their entire story. You only see what they choose to show. Your journey has its own timing. Your lessons have their own purpose. Your growth has its own process. Do not abandon your path because someone else appears to be ahead. My beloved child, remember the nights you thought you would never recover. Remember the moments when you felt completely alone. Remember the times when you had to make difficult choices without knowing what would happen next. You made it through. Maybe not perfectly. Maybe not without tears. Maybe not without mistakes. But you made it through. That is something worth recognizing. My child, your scars are not proof that you are weak. They are reminders that you survived something difficult. They can become evidence of what you learned and how much stronger you have become. Do not be ashamed of your past. Learn from it. Do not allow old pain to become your identity. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than the mistakes you made. You are more than the rejection you experienced. You are more than the season you are currently living through. My beloved child, there may be a new chapter ahead, but before you enter it, you must understand what the previous chapter taught you. Do not carry every old fear into a new season. Do not assume tomorrow will repeat yesterday. Yesterday taught you. Tomorrow can still surprise you. My child, you have already demonstrated that you can survive difficult seasons. Now learn how to believe that you can also experience better ones. Do not become so accustomed to struggle that you begin expecting struggle forever. It is okay to hope again. It is okay to dream again. It is okay to believe that your future can be different. My beloved child, your past may explain where you have been, but it does not have to determine where you are going. You can make different choices now. You can develop new habits. You can surround yourself with wiser influences. You can protect your peace. You can pursue meaningful goals. You can begin again. And when you look back one day, you may realize that the season you thought was destroying you was actually teaching you how to stand stronger. My child, do not give up now simply because you are tired. Rest if you need to. Ask for help if you need it. Take a slower step if necessary. But do not convince yourself that your journey has no purpose simply because the road has been difficult. You have already come too far to forget what you have learned. The fact that you are still moving forward means there is still more ahead of you. So lift your head. Take a breath. Look at how far you have come. And remember that you do not have to see the entire future to keep walking. You only need enough courage for the next step, enough wisdom for the next decision, and enough faith to believe that your story is not finished yet. My beloved child, there were seasons in your life that you never expected to experience. You faced disappointments that changed the way you looked at people, situations, and even yourself. There were moments when you asked why certain things had to happen, why certain doors closed, and why the answers you wanted did not come when you expected them. You may have looked at your pain and thought it was only taking something away from you. But my child, sometimes difficult seasons teach lessons that comfortable seasons never could. The pain you survived changed you. It taught you patience when you wanted immediate answers. It taught you strength when you felt weak. It taught you discernment when you had trusted too quickly. It taught you how to recognize what truly matters. My beloved child, do not assume that every difficult experience was meaningless simply because it hurt. Some experiences become valuable lessons when you choose to learn from them. You may not be able to change what happened, but you can decide what you will carry forward from it. Perhaps someone walked away from your life. At the time, you may have felt rejected. You may have wondered what was wrong with you. You may have spent countless hours trying to understand why the relationship changed. But sometimes losing a connection can reveal how much you were depending on someone who was not meant to define your worth. You learned that your value does not disappear when someone chooses not to recognize it. My child, perhaps you experienced a door closing that you desperately wanted to remain open. You thought that opportunity was your answer. You believed everything would finally change if that door opened. Then it closed. And you were disappointed. But later, you may discover that the closed door redirected you towards something more suitable for your life. Not every closed door is punishment. Some closed doors are protection. Some delays give you time to prepare. Some disappointments prevent you from building your future on something that was never stable. My beloved child, this does not mean that every painful experience was intentionally placed in your path. Life contains uncertainty, human choices, loss, and circumstances beyond your control. But even through difficult experiences, you can seek wisdom, healing, growth, and a renewed sense of purpose. Do not allow pain to become the only story you tell about your life. You suffered, but you also learned. You cried, but you also continued. You lost something, but you also discovered something about yourself. You were disappointed, but you became more discerning. You were tired, but you kept going. My child, there is strength in recognizing how far you have come. Think about the person you were before the difficult season. You may have trusted everyone. You may have ignored important boundaries. You may have been afraid to speak up. You may have depended too much on other people's approval. You may have allowed fear to control your choices. But now you understand more. You have experienced more. You have learned more. And that knowledge can help you enter your next chapter differently. My beloved child, do not carry yesterday's fear into tomorrow's opportunity. Just because something went wrong before does not mean everything will go wrong again. A past betrayal does not mean every person will betray you. A failed opportunity does not mean every opportunity will fail. A difficult relationship does not mean healthy relationships do not exist. A season of struggle does not mean your entire future will be a struggle. Learn from the past without becoming imprisoned by it. My child, you are allowed to hope again. You are allowed to dream again. You are allowed to believe that something better can still happen. You do not have to remain emotionally attached to everything that hurt you. Sometimes healing means accepting that you cannot change the past and choosing to invest your energy into what you can build now. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me? What should I do differently now? What boundaries do I need? What kind of person do I want to become because of what I experienced? These questions can transform pain into wisdom. My beloved child, perhaps you once believed that being strong meant never crying, never asking for help, and never admitting that something hurt you. But strength can also mean being honest. Strength can mean asking for support. Strength can mean setting boundaries. Strength can mean walking away from what repeatedly damages your peace. Strength can mean beginning again after disappointment. You do not have to pretend that everything was easy. You simply have to refuse to let the difficult season have the final word over your future. My child, there may be something greater ahead, but you must be willing to release the belief that your past determines everything. Your experiences shaped you, but they do not have to control every decision you make from this point forward. You can choose differently. You can grow differently. You can live differently. You can respond differently. The pain may have changed you, but it does not have to harden your heart. Let it make you wiser without making you bitter. Let it teach you boundaries without teaching you to distrust everyone. Let it develop patience without taking away your hope. My beloved child, remember that preparation often happens quietly. You may not notice your growth while it is happening. But one day you may encounter a situation that would have destroyed your peace years ago, and you will realize that you now respond with wisdom instead of panic. That is growth. That is evidence that the difficult season did not completely defeat you. It taught you. It strengthened you. It prepared you to handle something differently. My child, do not rush to understand every chapter while you are still living it. Some lessons become clear only with time. Give yourself permission not to have every answer today. Keep learning. Keep healing. Keep moving forward. And when the next opportunity arrives, do not approach it as the same person who entered the difficult season. Approach it with the wisdom you gained, the boundaries you learned, and the courage you developed through everything you survived. Your pain was real, but it does not have to be wasted. Your tears were real, but they do not have to define your future. Your struggle was real, but it does not mean your story ends with struggle. My beloved child, take what you learned, release what you no longer need to carry, and prepare your heart for what comes next. My beloved child, you have been through a chapter that taught you lessons you never expected to learn. There were moments when you thought the story would remain the same forever. You became familiar with disappointment, waiting, uncertainty, and questions that seemed to have no answers. But my child, one chapter ending does not mean your entire story is over. Sometimes an ending is simply the space needed for something new to begin. You may be standing in that space right now. You may not understand what is happening because the old has not completely disappeared, while the new has not yet become visible. This season can feel uncomfortable. You may wonder why things are changing, why certain people are leaving, why certain opportunities are disappearing, or why the path you expected no longer looks the same. My beloved child, do not assume that every change is a loss. Sometimes change is preparation. Sometimes a closed door creates room for a better direction. Sometimes distance from certain people allows you to discover who you truly are without their influence. Sometimes a delay gives you time to become ready for what you have been asking for. My child, you may have spent so much time asking when your situation would change that you forgot to prepare yourself for the possibility that change could actually come. Prepare your heart. Prepare your mind. Prepare your habits. Prepare your priorities. If you want a different chapter, you cannot continue living exactly like the previous one. My beloved child, a new chapter requires new decisions. You cannot carry every old habit into a new season and expect completely different results. There are things you may need to release. There are patterns you may need to break. There are distractions you may need to remove. There are boundaries you may need to establish. This is not punishment. It is growth. You have learned things that you did not know before. You understand people differently now. You understand yourself differently. You recognize certain patterns more quickly. You know what drains your peace. You know what deserves your attention. Use that wisdom. My child, do not allow your past to make you afraid of your future. Just because something went wrong before does not mean everything ahead will go wrong. A failed relationship does not mean you can never experience a healthy one. A lost opportunity does not mean you will never have another. A difficult season does not mean your entire life will remain difficult. Your future still has possibilities. My beloved child, perhaps you are currently experiencing a transition. You may not have all the answers, and that is okay. Transitions are rarely comfortable because they require you to leave what you know before you fully understand what comes next. Do not panic because the future is unfamiliar. Unfamiliar does not automatically mean dangerous. Sometimes unfamiliar simply means new. Give yourself permission to learn. Take one step at a time. Do not demand that everything become clear immediately. My child, you may be tempted to return to the old simply because the new feels uncertain. But remember why you wanted change in the first place. Do not return to something simply because it is familiar. Familiarity is not always safety. Comfort is not always growth. And staying in the same place is not always peace. My beloved child, there is a difference between missing something and needing it back. You can miss a person and still know that the relationship was not healthy. You can miss an old lifestyle and still recognize that you have outgrown it. You can remember a previous season fondly without needing to return to it. Let the past remain a teacher. Do not force it to become your future again. My child, if you are entering a new chapter, protect it. Do not tell everyone every detail of your plans. Not everyone needs access to your dreams, your goals, or your private decisions. Share wisely. Seek guidance from trustworthy people. Keep working quietly when necessary. Let your actions speak. My beloved child, a new chapter is not created by waiting for life to magically become different. It begins when you decide to become intentional about your choices. Choose better habits. Choose healthier boundaries. Choose meaningful goals. Choose patience. Choose discipline. Choose faith over constant fear. Choose progress over comparison. You may not transform everything overnight, but small consistent choices can completely change your direction over time. My child, perhaps you have been waiting for a sign that your life can become different. Let this be your reminder that you are not required to remain trapped in yesterday. You can learn from what happened without living inside it. You can forgive without returning to unhealthy situations. You can remember without remaining stuck. You can grieve what ended while still making room for what begins. My beloved child, the next chapter may not look exactly like what you imagined. It may arrive differently. It may require patience. It may challenge you in new ways. But do not reject something simply because it does not resemble your original plan. Sometimes life takes an unexpected direction and teaches you that there are possibilities you had never considered. Stay open. Stay wise. Stay grounded. And keep moving. My child, you do not need to know the entire story before turning the page. You only need the courage to release the chapter that has finished teaching you and the willingness to begin writing something new. Do not let yesterday convince you that tomorrow has nothing to offer. There is still room for growth. There is still room for healing. There is still room for opportunity. There is still room for joy. There is still room for a new beginning. My beloved child, your story is not defined by the hardest chapter you have lived through. What happened before may always be part of your story, but it does not have to be the final chapter. Take what you learned. Release what needs to be released. Prepare for what is ahead. And as you step into this new season, remember that you do not have to carry everything from the past with you. Some things belong exactly where they are, in the chapter that has already ended. My beloved child, there were moments when you wondered whether all your waiting had any meaning. You prayed, you hoped, you continued, but the answer did not come when you expected it. You watched other people move forward while you seemed to remain in the same place. Sometimes you questioned whether your patience was making any difference at all. My child, do not believe that your patience has been wasted. Every season of waiting can teach you something. It can teach you to slow down, to become stronger, to examine your priorities, and to discover whether you truly trust the process even when you cannot see the outcome. You wanted an immediate answer, but perhaps what you needed first was preparation. My beloved child, patience does not mean doing nothing. Patience means continuing to live wisely while you wait. It means taking care of what is already in your hands. It means continuing to grow even when the result you desire has not appeared yet. Perhaps you have been waiting for a relationship to change. Perhaps you have been waiting for an opportunity. Perhaps you have been waiting for financial improvement. Perhaps you have been waiting for a personal breakthrough. Whatever the situation, remember that your life is not meaningless simply because you are waiting. There are things happening within you that may not be visible from the outside. You are becoming more discerning. You are becoming more patient. You are learning to recognize what truly matters. You are discovering that not every opportunity deserves a yes. You are learning that not every person deserves unlimited access to your life. You are learning that peace is more valuable than constantly trying to prove yourself. My child, these lessons have value. My beloved child, perhaps you have looked at the delay as evidence that nothing is happening. But sometimes preparation happens quietly. You may not see the results immediately, yet your choices today can prepare you for opportunities tomorrow. Imagine receiving something you prayed for before you were emotionally or practically ready to handle it. What you wanted could become a burden instead of a blessing. Sometimes waiting gives you time to become ready. Sometimes waiting protects you from making a decision too quickly. Sometimes waiting allows circumstances to become clearer. And sometimes waiting teaches you that what you thought you wanted is not actually what you need. My child, do not compare your timing with someone else's. Their journey may look faster, but you do not know what happens behind the scenes. You do not know their struggles, responsibilities, or challenges. Your journey is your own. Do not turn someone else's progress into evidence that you are failing. You are not behind simply because your path looks different. My beloved child, your faith has also been strengthened through difficult moments. Faith is easy to talk about when everything is going well. But when circumstances remain uncertain, continuing to hope requires something deeper. You have learned to keep going without having every answer. You have learned to continue when motivation disappears. You have learned that one difficult day does not determine your entire future. These lessons cannot always be measured, but they matter. My child, do not allow disappointment to convince you that nothing good is coming. Disappointment is a feeling, not a prophecy. A delay is not automatically a denial. A closed door is not proof that every door is closed. A difficult season is not proof that your future will always be difficult. Keep your perspective. My beloved child, continue doing what is within your control. Work on yourself. Improve your habits. Take care of your responsibilities. Strengthen your relationships with trustworthy people. Learn new skills. Protect your peace. Stay committed to meaningful goals. Do not put your entire life on hold while waiting for one specific outcome. Live today. Grow today. Learn today. Prepare today. Then, when the right opportunity comes, you will be more prepared to recognize it and handle it wisely. My child, perhaps the greatest lesson from your waiting season is that your worth was never determined by how quickly something happened for you. You are valuable even while you are waiting. You do not have to prove your worth through achievements, possessions, relationships, or other people's approval. Do not let delay make you feel forgotten. Do not let comparison make you feel inferior. Do not let disappointment make you give up. My beloved child, look back at where you started. There was a time when you did not know what you know now. There was a time when certain challenges would have overwhelmed you. But now you have experience. You have perspective. You have learned. That growth is evidence that your journey has not been empty. Your patience has taught you. Your faith has strengthened you. Your difficult seasons have shaped you. And your continued effort has brought you farther than you may realize. My child, keep going, but do not force what needs time. Keep working, but do not exhaust yourself trying to control everything. Keep believing, but also stay grounded in wisdom and reality. You can have faith while still being patient. You can hope while still preparing. You can dream while still taking practical steps. My beloved child, one day you may look back at this season and understand why you needed the lessons it gave you. You may realize that the waiting was not simply empty time. It was a season where you became stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever came next. So do not throw away your hope because the answer has not arrived yet. Do not abandon your progress because the results are slow. Keep taking the next wise step. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep preparing. And remember, my child, your faith and patience have not been wasted. Everything you have learned can become part of the foundation for the next chapter, and as you continue forward with patience, wisdom, and courage, you may begin to see why this season required you to wait a little longer. My beloved child, there are seasons in life when everything feels quiet, and you begin to wonder if anything will ever change. You pray, you wait, you continue moving forward, but the breakthrough you hoped for seems delayed. In those moments, it is easy to believe that nothing new is coming. But today, I want you to lift your eyes beyond your present circumstances and remember this: every ending creates room for a new beginning, and every season of preparation can lead to a season of opportunity. You have spent enough time looking at what you lost. Now it is time to prepare your heart for what you can still receive. My child, blessings do not always arrive in the way you imagine. Sometimes they come as a new opportunity. Sometimes they come as wisdom you did not have before. Sometimes they come through healthier relationships, restored peace, or the courage to begin again. Do not limit your future by expecting it to look exactly like your past dreams. Stay open to new possibilities. Perhaps you have been praying for one specific door to open, while another meaningful opportunity has quietly been standing in front of you. Do not ignore the small beginnings. Great changes often begin with small, faithful steps that seem ordinary at first. My beloved child, prepare yourself before the opportunity arrives. If you want greater responsibility, become more disciplined today. If you desire stronger relationships, practice honesty, kindness, and healthy boundaries now. If you are hoping for financial growth, become wise with what you already have. The habits you build today can prepare you for the blessings of tomorrow. Do not wait until everything changes before you become the person you are meant to be. Become that person now. My child, let go of the belief that you have missed your chance. Your story is not finished because one opportunity passed. Life is filled with new seasons, new lessons, and new doors. What matters is whether you are willing to recognize them when they appear. There may be people who remind you of your past failures. There may be voices telling you that it is too late. Do not allow those voices to become louder than hope. Your future is not determined by someone else's opinion of you. It is shaped by the choices you make from this day forward. Choose faith over fear. Choose growth over comfort. Choose gratitude over bitterness. Choose purpose over distraction. My beloved child, every difficult season has prepared you in ways you cannot fully see yet. You have become stronger, wiser, and more discerning. The tears you cried were not meaningless. The lessons you learned were not wasted. They became part of the foundation you will stand on in the next chapter of your life. So do not walk into your future carrying the weight of yesterday. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that you have learned enough to make better decisions, love more wisely, protect your peace, and recognize opportunities that align with your purpose. My child, get ready, not because everything will suddenly become perfect, but because you are no longer the person you were when this journey began. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are ready to embrace the opportunities ahead with courage, patience, and hope. Lift your head, keep your faith alive, and take the next step with confidence. The chapter ahead is waiting for you, and your greatest opportunity may be closer than you realize. Your story is not ending here, it is just beginning.